So let's keep on talking about our geometric shapes. If I have this guy right here, what geometric shapes do you see? What are all the different things that you could identify? If you look, you could see a line segment, right? We have line segment MN, right? Now, you could write it this way. You could also say NM, because with a line segment, you're just identifying endpoints. That's all you're doing. Could you identify any rays here? What ray or rays could you identify? Ray MN, so we would do it like this. Is there another ray? NM. Now, are these guys the same rays? So I guess I shouldn't write the word or here, right? Let's do a little comma. See, these guys right here, these guys are the same. If you go MN or NM, that's the same construction. It's just the segment, the collection of points between M and N. But if I talk about ray MN, what's ray MN? That's starting at M going all the way out here, right? But what is ray NM? Starting at N and it goes this way, right? Okay. Are there lines that you can identify? How would you write that? Maybe like this. We put the bar with the arrow both ends like this. That's line MN. You've got this line and you're just picking up 2 points to identify that M and N. What if I go the other way and I say NM like this? Are these guys the same? Yes, because this is a line that goes on forever in both directions. So these guys are the same. So these guys are the same. These guys are the same, but these guys right here, these guys are actually different constructions. Okay. Now, when we start putting some of these guys together, we create really neat geometric shapes. So, for example, if I do this. What have I created? I've created an angle. Now, the way that an angle is defined by two rays with a common endpoint. Two rays with a common endpoint. So if I were to label these guys here A, B, and C, then I would talk about, this angle. And so we might write this: the construction is angle ABC. It's like you trace your finger along it as you create the shape, and that's how you get the letters. Angle A, B, C. Another way that you could say this is angle what? CBA. Of course, every time I see that, I think of the collective bargaining agreement. Never mind, it's a sports thing. There is another way that you can label this guy in particular, and you could just label it by the vertex, which is B. So this guy right here, that common endpoint, is called the vertex. So this guy right here is an angle. Please make sure you spell it as angle, not angel. You laugh, but you have no idea how many times people say, well, the measure of the third angel, the third angel, which is, they start talking about four angels, like when we think it's the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and then we start to have to really be concerned, well, the measurement of the angel of death. What is your problem here? So, a lot of different ways to label this, and sometimes you'll even have this. You may just have like a number on the inside like this. And so you could say this is, we could call this angle 1. Now the problem that we have is when we start putting multiple angles together, what does that look like? Well, let's do this. How many angles have I created here? I've created 4 angles. Okay. Let's call this point P. Point P is where these two lines do what? Intersect. Intersection is the point, is the word I was looking for. Now I'm just arbitrarily labeling these points here. A, B, C, and D. So how many angles do we have? We've really created 4 angles here, right? So I'm going to label them like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you are talking about angles in this diagram, you have to be very precise about what you are saying. So if I'm trying to talk about this angle right here, okay, tell me how you would label this angle. How do you describe that angle?
BPC.
So you would say angle BPC. Is that the only way to describe it? CPB. Yeah, watch how you say those letters really fast though, right? So angle CPB. Is there another way to label this guy? You could say this is angle 2. Now, could I label this guy as angle P, like in the last diagram I had angle B? Why can I not just call this angle P? Well, because there are multiple angles that have P as the vertex, right? You've got 4 angles that all have P as the vertex. So when that's the case, you have to use all 3 letters or use the number indicated for that particular angle. Does that make sense? You have to label things and call things precisely so that everybody knows what you're talking about. Again, in mathematics, just like in English or any other language, it's all about communication and communicating appropriately and effectively.